Well, we all know today is a very special and prominent occasion. We are honored to have His Grace, the Most Reverend Dr. Paul Kwong, the Archbishop and Primate of Hong Kong聖公會, to be our guest of honor. Archbishop Paul obtained his undergraduate degree from Ling Nan College of Hong Kong and his Master of Divinity degree from CDSP in the States. He was awarded 2 honorary doctorate degrees, one by Ling Nan University of Hong Kong and the other by the Wycliffe College of the University of Toronto in Canada. Archbishop Paul has also been awarded a PhD by the University of Birmingham, United Kingdom. He's also a fellow of Ribbon College, Caston, Oxford, UK. Dear Archbishop, we treasure your presence today. On behalf of the school, may I wish you our very best in your ministry in the years ahead. Now, we'll invite His Grace, the Most Reverend Dr. Paul Kwong, to address the school. Let us welcome him.
Bishop Lewis and honorable members of the school committee, Mr. Ronnie Chan, and honorable guests, teachers, parents, and students. It is a great honor and privilege for me to be invited this afternoon to address the school on your speech day. As many of you probably know, your school was originally a girls' school. It was described as a native female training school set up by the wife of my predecessor, the first Bishop of Hong Kong. Unfortunately, it didn't do very well. It only had a handful of students. It never had any money, and the local people did not like it. Then the second Bishop of Hong Kong turned it into an orphanage for both sexes. And out of these strange chrysalis, the boys' school emerged. The Bishop of Victoria was chairman of his school committee. Ever since the Bishop of Victoria, which was my predecessor used to be called, had been the chairman of your school council. That makes it both appropriate and pleasure to talk to you today. In the early part of the 20th century, when the school was located on Bon Nen Road on Hong Kong side, relations between the school and the church were physically a lot closer. The school provided the majority of choir boys at St. John's Cathedral. Most of the students attended the cathedral on Sundays. In 1925, the headmaster was asked to put a senior boy at the end of each row of boys attending evensong because they were so badly behaved. If the boys were irritable, it wasn't surprising. According to an old boy, W.J. Howard, who attended between 1911 and 1919, the senior boys have to walk from Bon Nen Road to St. John's Cathedral for the 6:50 a.m. communion service. And after walking back, all boys marched down to St. Peter's Church in Western District for the 11 a.m. service. And then after 2 hours of memorizing the prayer and the gospel for the day, they have to walk back to the cathedral for evensong. So this is wonder they had any energy for mischief. Well, I'm not here this afternoon to suggest we start doing that again. I just wanted to look at the here and now with you. There's a difference between you here and now and that of those boys trooping between churches 100 years ago. In one important way, you are more vulnerable than they were. What did schoolboys know of the world and its agendas back in 1913? They knew what their parents and teachers told them and what they read in books that were bought for them. There would be a few newspapers, and I doubt many boys read them. But you are different. You are, on the other hand, are told everything from every direction, not just print anymore, but from the internet, the so-called social media, and a 24-hour electronic news cycle. In 1913, consumer industries did not directly target teenage boys. They dressed as they were told. Their accessories and their amusements were mostly bought for them. Today, young people are a major market. You have spending power. You are targeted directly for entertainment, IT accessories, and clothes. The blandishments come from every direction and in every form. From a very early point, this point in your lives, you have to critically analyze what is being told to you in the public arena. You have to learn not to take information at face value, to not always trust what people tell you. I hope you can trust what your parents say, what your teachers or headmasters say, or your good friends say, or what I say even. But there are people and organizations out there who want to tell a story which is not necessarily the whole story or the true story. Of course, we all take direct advertising with a pinch of salt. Something which claims to be the best or unique is easily questioned. Some products are more resourceful. They associate themselves with something appealing or virtuous, a sportsman or event or a charity. Their logo is all over it, but how virtuous is the product? Does it do what it says? Is it worth what it asks? Does it exploit workers to make it cheaper? You can find out a lot of the answers from the media. Yet, the media is just as much a place where you shouldn't take what you are seeing or hearing on trust. You certainly soon believe everything you see on television or on YouTube. The point is made, a YouTube video watched by over 3 million people a couple of months ago, showing a golden eagle swooping to snatch a baby, but it turned out to be a hoax because this video clip on YouTube was animated by 3 university students. Allow me to give you 2 more examples. You will have watched documentaries where the presenter tells you that he is alone and entering into a dangerous situation. He makes no mention of the cameraman and soundman who are often filming ahead of him. It is one example where you are expected not to ask questions, but you should because it is a setup. Just like another wicked favorite of television, the virtual reality show. One of them is very popular in UK, is the Big Brother. People are brought low, made to cry, turned to anger, encouraged to plot against each other, and ultimately humiliated. And out of it come only winners. The rest are losers and scapegoats. It is strongly suggested you have witnessed the human condition, but you have to ask yourself, from your experience in life with your family and your friends, is that true? For example, everything that Jesus Christ did and taught says the opposite is true. And you have to bring to bear all the critical faculties which the school teaches you to use. You have to apply them to everything you read and watch to discover the lie and uphold the truth in your mind. I am not against the media, but its standards have to be high. Often they are not. Often it sets the agenda rather than just reports it. You to look closely at what the media is telling you is important and decide for yourself. The 24-hour news cycle and internet create stiff competition, and media managers do everything they can to raise the temperature, to increase the drama, and grab your attention. For example, in Hong Kong today, most of the media give us a deliberate impression that one of the most important issues in Hong Kong today is the removal of the chief executive. This has been going on now around 2 different men for over a year. The question you have to be able to ask is not whether the chief executive should or shouldn't go. The question is whether this is the dominant issue in people's minds we are told it is. Is that true? Just after the New Year's Day, I read the opening paragraph of a news report describing the various Hong Kong street demonstrations as evidence of a deeply divided society. Just think about that. How could that reporter know from what she saw that this was the conclusive evidence? Who was she to make the judgment call? Of course, there is no judgment. The build-up in the media is that society is divided because it is a simple and dramatic explanation that sells news. In the Old Testament, the prophet Jeremiah has something to say about the easy and appealing falsehoods. He says, "An appalling and horrible thing has happened in the land. The prophets prophesy falsely, and the priests rule at their direction. My people love to have it so, but what will you do when the end comes?" You must question those easy and received wisdom. It is harder work than taking things at their face value, but you must do it. You owe it to yourself and to those around you. I just want to want you to remember, critical analysis is an integral part of your education here at this school and also in the years to come, because it stays with you for life. If you learn to love untruths instead, what indeed will you do when the time for truth comes? But if you reject misrepresentation, if you think it out for yourself, you will weather storms in your life and see light. Thank you.